Hey everyone, welcome back to Does It Suck? And today we are taking a look at something very, very, very different. This only affects Canadians. So if you're not a Canadian, you do not need to be concerned about this. But if you are a Canadian and you enjoy either mag-fed paintball or airsoft, you should be very, very much concerned about this because we're going to be talking about Bill C-21 today. If you're not familiar, Bill C-21 is being put forward by the government right now, and it's a big bill that's kind of pertaining to a bunch of firearm-related stuff. But today, I'm only going to be talking about the stuff that directly relates to paintball and to airsoft. So the main thing that we're concerned about is essentially they are changing the definition of replica firearms. And what they're changing it to is basically any device that, I'm paraphrasing here, but any device that closely or exactly resembles a real firearm, but is not a real firearm, is now a prohibited device. So that means that essentially an airsoft gun, all airsoft guns, if they closely or exactly replicate a real firearm, they are now prohibited. And the wording for that whole like closely or exactly replicating is super, super vague. So we know that basically airsoft guns will all be banned, but we're not sure how many paintball markers will be banned as well, because it kind of comes down to how you interpret that wording. It's safe to assume something like an Umarex PPQ, because it essentially exactly replicates its real steel counterpart, it's safe to assume that would be banned. But when it gets to things like a T-15 or a TMC, it's like a lot trickier, and we just honestly don't know, because the wording where it says is designed to replicate with near precision, like what does that mean? What is with near precision? Where's the cutoff for that? Because like a T-15 or a TMC, they look a lot like an AR. They're not exactly like an AR, but they're very, very close. So is that close enough to be banned? If I take a TMC and I put a hopper on it, is that better? Does that change anything? Is it still banned? Is it not banned if it takes a hopper? Like, we don't know. Honestly, like the wording is so vague that it's impossible to tell which markers are going to be affected by it and which ones won't. So obviously that's super concerning. Like me personally, not knowing which of my markers could and or will be banned is like, obviously I'm freaked out about that, right? Like a lot of my markers are very, very similar to real firearms. You guys know that. And I'm concerned about which ones of them will be banned. Is it like will I even know if they're banned? Or is it just something that I basically am just risking it every time I take it out to a game, you know? And what does that mean? Like what would it mean if they are banned? Well, it means that any of these prohibited devices, so your airsoft guns, mag-fed paintball markers, whatever, it's not illegal to own it, but it is illegal to buy it, sell it, import it, give it away, lend it away. Even technically, if you lost it, you could be like liable for it, basically. Which means if you did any of these things, if you sort of decided to sell your paintball marker after this ban goes through, you could be charged with weapons trafficking, which is not good, obviously. And one of the big issues that I can see in this is that obviously, like, we are aware, you're watching this, you are aware of this bill, I'm aware of this bill, but what if you're not? You know, there are hundreds of thousands of these airsoft guns and paintball markers already in the country, and if you're not aware of this ban, you could be inadvertently just committing weapons trafficking just out of sheer ignorance, right? Like maybe somebody's had a paintball marker sitting in their garage for 10 years, they finally decided to sell it, they had no idea that now it's banned, and now you've committed a crime, right? Like this is not good, this is super concerning. Obviously, banning all airsoft guns is going to basically destroy the airsoft industry overnight, you know, like hundreds of fields and shops will close, thousands of people will lose their jobs, that's not good. And with paintball, while the industry will still be here, it's gonna take a hit. Like it's gonna take a big hit. Like MagFed has become a very, very big part of the paintball industry. A lot of people play MagFed. And if MagFed suddenly just gets banned overnight, every shop and field will feel that. They will all feel the hurt. On top of that, like how does this affect the players? Obviously, many players, especially airsofters, they got nowhere to go. Their sport is done, they're done. And then now they have a bunch of equipment that's banned and they can't really do anything other than just voluntarily giving it to the government. If you are not freaked out because you're thinking, well, I already own all my equipment, like I don't need to buy an airsoft gun, I've got an airsoft gun, I could still play, it's all good. Well, there's actually a reason why it's not all good. I believe it's section 117.02 that basically states that any old police officer, if they see you with that banned airsoft gun or paintball marker, they can essentially demand that you provide a license that you own it. That license doesn't exist. There is no license for a prohibited device. So when you can't give them that license because you don't have one, they can basically seize it, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no recourse, there's no way you're getting it back. So anytime you take that thing out, you are running the risk of having it seized. And you know, that's freaky, right? So what is that gonna mean? What is that gonna look like if this ban goes through? Because obviously, many airsofters and paintballers are just done. They're just gonna quit. Like, sure, some paintballers will move over to using something like a speedball gun, something that's not banned, but a lot of them just don't wanna do that, and they're just gonna quit. But a lot of them are gonna decide, no, I don't wanna quit, I wanna keep playing, and instead of playing at actual established fields that have things like insurance and safety staff and stuff like that, no, they're gonna be playing in people's backyards and private lots and stuff like that. So essentially a huge portion of the sport is gonna be forced underground. They're gonna start playing at places that are nowhere near as safe, that don't have insurance. Obviously that means more people are gonna get injured, because if you have no actual safety protocols and no staff to enforce them, that sounds like more injuries to me. So yeah, it's bad, it's all bad. Now, in its current form, paintball is very safe. Statistically, it's way safer than hockey. And you know, Canada and hockey's fine, so why shouldn't paintball be fine? But it's only safe because of things like insurance and safety staff and protocols and stuff like that. If everyone's being forced to play on private property and in people's backyards, that won't be true anymore. It won't be as safe as it is. There will be a lot more injuries, which is, of course, not good for the sport further. So I'm sure this is not a surprise to you, but my verdict for whether or not this sucks is yes, it absolutely sucks. It sucks so hard. But what can we do about it? Like, because this clearly is terrible for our sport. So we got to be able to do something about it, right? And we have compiled some links in the description below for you. A couple things. There is a petition going to Parliament. Please sign the petition if you're Canadian and you care about this and you don't want this to happen. Please sign it. If you want, you can also contact your MP. And of course, please share this video around. Please just get this video out there. Get this to the people that it's going to affect. So if you know a Canadian paintballer or airsofter, share this video with them. Get them involved. As the more of us that are, you know, just saying, no, we don't want this, the better chance we have of it not actually becoming a law. So yeah, this sucks. This really sucks. But hopefully together we can actually stop it from happening. Hopefully. So yeah, let us know what you think about this in the comments. Even if you're not a Canadian and this doesn't affect you personally, like, what do you think about it? And, you know, share it around. Please get this out to everyone you can. And as always, thank you for watching.